Liverpool is ready to act on its attention to the 24-year-old extraordinary star. Liverpool are reportedly making plans to sign Chelsea midfielder Mason Mount in 2023. The Reds strengthened Jürgen Klopp's offensive ranks with a move on Cody Gakpo this month. And now there's a new midfielder on the Anfield agenda. Borussia Dortmund's Jude Bellingham appears to be the club's biggest target, and discussions have been made over a potential move. The likes of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita and James Milner are due to expire at the end of the season, and another England national team player appears to be attracting interest for Liverpool Chiefs, whom journalist Josh Bunting has previously called a sublime. It's no secret that the Reds are keen to renew their midfield at the end of the season after a disastrous campaign that saw their current setup come to light, and Mount appears to be part of those plans. Liverpool are of course also keen on Jude Bellingham and Matheus Nunez, and if all goes as planned, these three could form a new-looking midfield trio in Liverpool. The Guardian shared a story about Mount on Friday, saying Chelsea are stepping up their attempts to sign the player on a new contract as Liverpool are making plans for a summer move. Those at Stamford Bridge are optimistic that the 24-year-old will stay at the club, but the Reds are ready to solidify their interest with Mount until the final 18 months of his contract. Jürgen Klopp had the chance to watch Mount closely as the two sides met at Anfield, and if his contract status remains the same, it could be a deal to consider as the year continues. Mason Mount is primarily an offensive midfielder, but can also play as a central midfielder or left side. That's why it offers versatility in Merseyside. The player also appears to be at the height of his power, with a career-high €75 million transfermarkt valuation. Mason Mount has outperformed Liverpool's midfielders this season alongside Thiago, according to Who Scored. It would be absolutely fantastic for Mount Liverpool. Yes, this can be frustrating for Chelsea, but her role at Stamford Bridge looks completely different from her role at Anfield. For Jürgen Klopp, he will be playing on a system that suits his abilities. It's a mouth-watering possibility that the British star will be used similarly to how Georginio Wijnaldum did his showdown. Along with a midfield addition or two, this could give the Liverpool team the new life it needs to start and get back to the best. Of course, it all depends on Chelsea leaving the player. Mount has been a key player for the Blues for years at this point, and while contract negotiations are currently not progressing, it's hard to imagine that West Londoners would let academy graduates go without a fight. Chelsea need to put their actions together if they want to keep Mount, because Liverpool are ready to take the leap. Watford and Swansea City fight for Liverpool's star candidate. Watford and Swansea City are closely following Liverpool's right-back Calvin Ramsey, according to journalist Alan Nixon's report. The 19-year-old came from Aberdeen in the summer and, although not yet in the Premier League, has managed to accumulate experience in the Champions League and EFL Cup. At this stage, the Premier League giants are likely to retain the exciting youngster. Jürgen Klopp has great faith in the young talent. Liverpool have a tight fixture list as the rest of the campaign continues, which could create a space for the young defender to be given more opportunities. However, if their stance changes in the final stages of the window, the Championship duo have positioned themselves well to secure their services in a loan deal. Calvin Ramsey is an exciting talent that is clearly highly rated by those holding top positions at Liverpool. But Trent Alexander-Arnold remains solid as first-choice right-back at Anfield. A loan transfer to a club pushing for promotion to the Championship can be hugely beneficial in its development. But temporary assignments come with their risks. It is a situation that Liverpool will continue to monitor until the end of this transfer window, and further transfer deals will potentially affect the club's final decision. It will be interesting to see a player with an incredibly high ceiling and a great future ahead of him at Anfield, to see how all this turns out before the deadline next Tuesday. Calvin Ramsey could not fully prepare for Liverpool this season and could not contribute due to injury when Alexander-Arnold was out of form. Of course, it would make sense to hire him and keep him growing. However, the second half of the league will be much more difficult and Klopp may need him in a tight match schedule. New contract release from Klopp. Liverpool forward Roberto Firmino has expressed his desire to stay at the club after Jürgen Klopp explained why it would be beneficial to keep him and a player whose contract has expired. Firmino's contract expires at the end of the season. He has been working for Liverpool since 2015 and has become one of the key players in Klopp's reign. He made 348 appearances for the club in total, and all but 7 were under Klopp. The Liverpool manager has never given any other player more chances to play during his coaching career. Firmino became someone he could count on with 107 goals and 78 assists. After a tough 2021 to 2022 season on an individual basis, Firmino has shined again in this region this season. The Brazilian star has scored 7 goals in 13 Premier League games this season. With Liverpool out of shape as a whole, Firmino stepped forward. So it might make sense to extend Liverpool's stay this season, despite contributing to their offense with the likes of Darwin, Nunez and Cody Gakpo. Firmino has now suggested that his intention is to remain committed to Liverpool for the 9th season and beyond. "It's great to play top-level football with great players here. I'm happy here and I intend to stay and help Liverpool," said Firmino, as quoted by Fabrizio Romano. The German tactician explained why Firmino, who had proven himself to be the only person to play a regular season for Liverpool in the first few months of the campaign, was important to him. Asked why Firmino hasn't signed a new deal yet, Klopp said, "When you think about it, it could be the length of the contract and the money. That's perfectly normal. Bobby knows the situation here and what we think of him. We weren't flying in the first episode of the season, but Bobby was the only one playing a regular season. He's really important. Having a player with football intelligence in tight spaces makes things easier. I don't know 100% what his plans are. Maybe someone else will offer him something better." Klopp also touched on the future of James Milner. Milner, along with Firmino, is someone Liverpool will try to keep. Klopp described his co-captain as incredibly valuable as he continued to defy his age. Milner recently turned 37 but has managed to play 21 times in all competitions this season. As a result, Klopp hopes that Milner will accept his plans for her as she wants to continue her career. The manager said, "We have different plans for Millie, but Millie wants to keep playing. I think everybody understood that when you played him last night. You can't judge him normally by his age. He's an incredibly important player and you've seen that on the court against the Wolves." Millie has reached 600 Premier League games, most of them for Liverpool. "There may be more fancy players out there, but there is no one with a similar mindset and that makes him incredibly valuable to us. And it's not because I'm very loyal, it's just a fact." Milner, who joined the club in 2015, is second only to Firmino in terms of the number of games played under Klopp,